become plastic people, denying the pain and evil and misery all around us. Well, some people, they don't try to fake it. They try to go back and find it. It's like, I got to get that emotional high back. I got to find a new church, a new book, a new teacher, a new philosophy, a new way of doing Christianity, because I got to be in search of that emotional high, and they're always searching for that high that comes. And then there are other people, and their option is to go, look, just forget it. Apparently the God thing doesn't work out. Apparently it's not what I thought that it was. So you know what? I'm going to check out on the God thing. Maybe he's real, maybe he's not. I don't really know, but I'm going to try to find some other path when it comes to how I'm going to live my life. And in the dip of life, when we're disappointed with our God experience and things get hard and faith and sight collide, we can easily either try to fake it, find it, or forget it. But there's another option. And we learn that other option is to forge ahead. This is when we embrace faith and doubt. We embrace both faith and our questions, and we just say, I'm going to wrestle with them while I keep moving God's way. That's just what I'm going to do. I'm going to hang on to both. That's the option that Habakkuk took. And that's the option that God would like all of us to take when we get into one of the dips of life. Now, today, what I want to do is I want to try to address one simple question. And that is, how exactly do we live right there? I mean, it's one thing to say, I'm going to embrace my faith and my doubt, my faith and my questions, and I'm going to forge ahead for God. But how does that look? I mean, how does that work? What is it we're actually supposed to do? Well, Habakkuk basically helps us to answer that question. And that's what we find in chapter 2. And so we find this verse as chapter 2 begins. It says, Then the Lord said to Habakkuk, write my answer plainly on tablets, so that a runner can carry the correct message to others. I'd love to talk about that. There's a ton of stuff right there. But God goes on to say, this vision is for a future time. It describes the end, and it will be fulfilled. It's like God going this. Look, I know things are a mess right now. I know you feel disappointed. I know you're frustrated. I know faith and sight have collided. But trust me, I'm going to break through. I'm going to act. I'm going to do something amazing. I'm going to make things right. You're going to see how good I am and how powerful I am. And that time is coming. That's what God's saying. It describes the end, and it will be fulfilled. If it seems slow in coming, I detest the next two words. I hate them. I can't say them. You say them for me. What are the next two words? What are they? What are they?
Wait patiently.
Wait patiently. Now, if he said wait and didn't tell me how, I'd be okay. Wait patiently, for it will surely take place. It will not be delayed. Basically, here, in a nutshell, is what we are to do to navigate the dips of life. When you're in the dip, wait on God. When you're in the dip, wait on God. You know, this concept of waiting on God is woven throughout the Scripture. It shows up again and again. And when it is practiced, it releases some powerful results in people's lives. But it's also a widely misunderstood concept, waiting on God. Like for instance, did you know that waiting on God is not a passive concept? See, it's not like the kind of waiting you do at a stoplight. This is the most irritating moment of my day, at a stoplight. Because you know what? Every second at a stoplight is just 1 second of life flushed right down the toilet. You never get it back. You're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything. You're just waiting for something to happen so you can finally move again. Waiting on God is not like waiting on a doctor's appointment. You know, they have the waiting room. And what do? You go there, And they put you in this room with other people in order for anxiety to build, in order for apprehension to increase. I mean, I've gone in, for a checkup, and it's like, man, your blood pressure's a little high. And I said at 2 when my appointment was, it was fine. At 3:15, yeah, it's a little high. And that kind of waiting where you're killing time is like, and somehow we think waiting on God is like killing time until finally, whenever God finally shows up to do his thing. That's not what waiting on God means. It is not a passive concept. It is an active concept. Waiting on God, as the concept unfolds in Scripture, is something we are to actively do. And if I had to try to put it into words, I think I'd say it this way. That to wait on God means to carry on in obedience while waiting for God to carry out his objectives. Waiting on God is saying, okay, God, I have no idea what you're doing. I do not know what you are up to. But you know what? Even though I can't figure it out, and nothing's happening the way I think it should, I'm going to keep on carrying on in obedience until you finally do whatever it is in your mind to finally do. And you confirm you are who you say you are. That's what it means to wait on God. It means that I obey God, I serve God, I grow in God when times are hard and difficult. When my efforts are fruitless and my prayers go unanswered. It means when I am being misunderstood and when I am being opposed. I decide that what I'm going to do is, in spite of appearances to the contrary, I'm going to hold on to the hope that God is actually who he says he is, and so I'm going to keep obeying, I'm going to keep serving, I'm going to try to keep growing, even though right now my circumstances cause me to doubt on just how good God may be. There's a fascinating chapter from the life of Jesus. It's recorded in Matthew chapter 15 if you want to read it. But after a very busy serving season, Jesus and his 12 best buddies are taking a little R&R out of country. And while they're there kind of talking and chilling, this girl from Canaan, a Canaanite, comes up. She was not a Jewish person. She didn't embrace the Jewish faith. And Jesus, of course, was a Jewish rabbi. She comes running up because she's got a daughter that, as near as she can tell, is demon-possessed. Right? And some of you parents can relate, can't you? What kind of daughter, man? I think she might be demon-possessed. And so she comes up, and she's crying out, Jesus, you got to help me. Jesus, you got to help me. And you know what Jesus does? He ignores her. Sure, that's exactly what he did. He ignores her. He's just talking to his guys. He just does it. It's like she's crying out. He just keeps running walking. And his disciples, are going like, yeah, Jesus, come to think of it, she is irritating. We should all ignore her. And then finally they just got so, she keeps crying out, help me, my daughter this, my daughter that. Jesus, could you just send this woman away? Because frankly, we're on a little vacation, and this is irritating. And then the woman gets really bold, and she runs right up to Jesus. She goes, you've got to help me. And his response is, I really came to help the Jews, not you. Yeah, you didn't know this Jesus, did you? He's like, yeah, I didn't come for you. I really came for somebody else. And you know what she did? She said, well, yeah, I know, but it's still, you've got to help me. I mean, you're like my only hope. And Jesus responds by saying, it's really not right to take the bread meant for the children and throw it to the dogs. Oh, my goodness, Jesus, seriously? You need to take a How to Win Friends and Win Enemies and Influence Friends, whatever that book is. You need it. Because that's not the way you treat people. I mean, you call her like a dog.